CNT120, Chapter 1, last section here on safety as well as on troubleshooting. A couple things on safety we do need to keep our brain on or keep our mind on with dealing with networks and equipment and so forth is we do need to be aware of escape routes, emergency exits. I'm a scout through and through, Eagle Scout from way back through and through, so I'm always thinking emergency situations just for, just in case. In IT, same thing. You need to be thinking escape routes, emergency exits. We also need to be aware of different fire suppression systems, making sure there is one in place, how it works, what it uses, etc. All emergency alert systems, fire alarm systems, that sort of thing, portable fire extinguishers. I have here on the next page a reminder that fire extinguishers for what we're dealing with should be Class C. They're the ones suitable for electrical equipment. They're usually a gas-based kind of thing that is going to suffocate the flames. That's the idea behind it. And also aware of like emergency power-off switches. Those shut off the power to everything. The downside of that is it might cause, data loss or failures, but I should still be aware of them in case there is a emergency. I would need to kill the power to everything. I should be aware where those are, what they control. I also need to be aware of, they mentioned fail open and fail close things. Usually, like a fire alarm system is going to unlock doors to let people leave as well as enter the building. Fire personnel enter the building. Whereas something that's like a firewall, as in a networking device firewall, if it fails, it's going to basically fail in the closed state. It's going to close all traffic from coming and going. I need to be aware of what those are, what devices are doing what in my network, in my closets, that sort of thing. I should be aware of safety data sheets, if there's any chemicals or anything, what they are for hazards, disposal, storage, that sort of stuff. Sometimes things get stored in closets, and I need to be aware of what they are. Can this be in my closet? Can this not be in my network closets, etc.? I should be aware that there's safety data sheets. They used to be called MSDS, material safety data sheets. Now they're just called safety data sheets. Just a little heads up on that one. OSHA regulates a lot of occupational safety and health administration things. Things like wearing personal protective equipment, keeping tools in proper order as well as in proper storage, using the right tool for the right job, watching out for trip hazards, cords, making sure there's conduits over the cords if they're on the floor, anything like that. So OSHA has some regulations that are going to require us to do certain things in our closet. We should be aware of that. I should also be aware of any static discharge. Computer components are usually grounded. I need to worry about static buildup and discharging all my electronic equipment because it could literally destroy an entire, microprocessor chip or something like that, or RAM or anything like that, or might just damage it enough that you're going to start having frequent failures or eventually a total failure on it. So if I'm dealing with anything inside a computer case, I should be thinking static strap so that I'm grounded before I remove a RAM stick, put it back in, etc. That's what I should be thinking about when dealing with, working on a computer, opening a case. I should be thinking grounding myself or static strapped so I don't have a static discharge on one of the video boards or I should say video cards or network cards or anything on inside my computer case. Last part of the chapter, they talk about troubleshooting network problems, and they use a model like this in your book. And this actually does a good job to try to walk you through the process you would use to troubleshoot something that's that might be a little bit more than just a quick obvious, I know what it is right off the bat. There is actually a process you work through. And you might actually have a flow chart if you're working the phone, working the help desk phone in a company of things you ask to work them through. So first thing you're going to do is identify the problem. You're going to try to gather as much information you can to find out what is really going on, because people might say the internet's broke. Well, we know the internet's not broke. However, what they're seeing, it feels like it's broke. So we need to gather enough information to find out, okay, what was working, what's not working now, did anything change, is there anybody around you that is affecting, and then start to develop a theory of what the probable cause is. And a good IT technician might be thinking multiple probable causes, might be a couple things. You don't always want to land on the first thing and think that's it and then get stumped when it's not that. So then 3, test that theory. Try a couple things. Especially if you're working with somebody across the phone. Well, can you pull up your command prompt and try this for me? Can you open this and try this for me? And establish an action plan from that. What are we going to do to correct their problem? I might need to try that solution. If that doesn't work, I might actually need to escalate this to somebody else in my team. I might have tried the 4 or 5 things that I know of, and I might escalate to somebody that's been around longer or familiar with that system. Maybe somebody else in your team is more familiar with the system that the person's working on that's having problems with. So you would document what you've done, what you've tried, and pass it on to them. We've tried A, B, and C. Those didn't work. Can you take a look at it now? So then hopefully we're narrowing it down and we try to get it functioning and try, is everything working as it should? Once we do, then we're going to document what we find and what we did. What did we do to fix it? What did we do to fix it? So we have that as reference for later. And that's why they show you this flow chart here, to kind of give you an idea of what you're going to do. Try something. Work your way through. Did it work? No. Work your way around. Did it work? No. That kind of thing. Until eventually to the point of like test it and then document what you're doing. So that's a good flow chart to work your way through. In our networking labs and class, I typically have you guys start simply and work layer 1 to 7. Try some layer 1 things, make sure it's plugged into the right port. Layer 2, make sure we got some blinking link lights on. Layer 3, make sure your IP settings are right, and work our way up through. That's typically a model we use that's very basic, but gets rid of a lot of the problems that we might have caused ourselves, especially when we're working in our lab room. So I tend to have people work layer 1 to 7 for us on the network, but this flowchart model here works well when you're answering somebody that's kind of coming to you with a question out of the blue or a problem out of the blue. You can work your way through this and try to narrow down what's really happening. So good model, good process to be aware of. And there is chapter 1.